Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Today, we're focusing on the top things to do in San Antonio, a city overflowing with exciting and diverse options. My name's Ariana Miesse from the demand generation team at Cvent, and here to help us narrow down that list of things to do is Krystal Jones, the Director of Arts and Culture Department for the City of San Antonio and a passionate ambassador for her city.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here and excited to share things that are all San Antonio.
Yep, we're pumped to get started. All right, so Krystal, let's get started with your wheelhouse. For those culture vultures out there, what would be your top recommendations for someone visiting San Antonio for an arts or cultural experience?
Well, the very first recommendation I would have is that you're going to have to book a second, third, and fourth trip after this trip. There is so much to do when it comes to arts and culture in San Antonio. It's around every corner. I mean, when you're coming down for the June timeframe, you're going to see so many different activities that are happening, from Fiesta Noche del Rio, which is right on our San Antonio Riverwalk, and then also to our public art garden, our Riverwalk Public Art Garden on the Riverwalk right next to the convention center. You can't miss it. And it's a best place to see local artists and also internationally known artists that are right there on the river along your walk to the meeting that you're going to. And it's a great way to experience arts and culture. And of course, we have so many museums, the San Antonio Museum of Art, we have the McNay Art Museum, the Contemporary at Blue Star, Art Pace, Ruby City. I'm telling you, there's so many things to do where you're gonna have to come back. That's my number one recommendation.
Yeah, sounds like a lot to fit into one trip. So it sounds like a few trips might be necessary.
Yes.
So next, we also know that attendees obviously spend a lot of time at their convention center. How can they make the most of their time in San Antonio to soak up the city's vibrant culture?
Well, the best part about our convention center and our downtown San Antonio is that everything is very walkable. And we also have other mechanisms for, for any kind of accessibility. So we have even sidecars you can travel by. We have Uber, of course, and then bicycles are always very popular. We have an e-bike system. But right along the convention center is the Riverwalk. So you can just pop right on down to the river and you can walk up to 15 miles if you'd like, where you're going to see murals, sculptures, nature, everything all in one along that trip. And because the convention center is also a piece of art, there's so many different art pieces in the convention center and a part of the convention center that you can experience. And everything, again, in downtown San Antonio is super walkable. So you can make it quickly to our historic Market Square, where you're going to find our contemporary art museum that's run by the city of San Antonio, Centro de Artes. You will find murals, and you will also find all those great souvenirs that you can take home and inspire your loved ones to come back with you the next time you visit.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So we know San Antonio is known for both its rich history and its progressive nature. How do these two things coexist in San Antonio, and what can visitors or event attendees do to experience both?
The thing that I love about San Antonio is that we really look forward as we embrace our past. And so for one, you can go to our website at sanantonio.gov/arts, and we have a public art map where you can find public art throughout the city. And the beauty of our public art program is that our artists that we work with the community to learn about their stories, their history, the history of the city. And that history is reflected in our art. So you can go to the Saga at San Fernando Cathedral Tuesday through Sunday at 9 and 9:30 p.m., right as you're about to wrap up or even get that nightcap, and see our beautiful city through culture through a 20-minute free show. You can also go and see, again, murals and sculptures that really speak to the city's history. And then you really must see the San Antonio missions. The Alamo is one of those missions, but there are 4 other missions that are just south of town that each have their unique atmosphere, their unique structure, and it really has a nod to our history that really started San Antonio in terms of San Antonio as a city before or after colonization. So it's just a really beautiful nod to, again, our history while looking at it from a today's point of view.
I know you just mentioned a lot of these things. So there, obviously, we've got the Alamo, we've got the different missions. Are there any other don't miss historical attractions or experiences that you would recommend in addition to those for our Cvent CONNECT attendees visiting this summer?
Yes, so I mentioned the San Antonio Museum of Art. I do want to nod to that because it is part of the former Lone Star Brewery. So it's a huge museum, but also has a nod to history. And I mentioned the missions. They are definitely a must-see. Mission San Jose is the queen of the missions, and you can find a video at their visitor center that talks about the history of the missions and the indigenous people that made these missions happen. I mean, they built these missions. And so that's a must see. We also have the Spanish Governor's Palace, which is right in the middle of downtown behind our city hall. And it's a really unique view about, when the city was under Spanish rule. And it has this beautiful oasis of a garden that you would never even know existed unless you went into the building and in the back door. And so that's one part that people would never know it was there. It's this hidden oasis that you must see. And it backs up right against the San Pedro Creek Culture Park, which is like a mini riverwalk, if you will, but it's full of murals and sculptures and poetry, and it's walking along nature's path as well.
Wow, that all sounds really incredible. I'm really excited to see all of this now. Shifting gears just a little bit, we are really excited about the fact that San Antonio gets more than 300 days of sunshine a year. That must mean there's a ton of outdoor and wellness activities to try. What are some of your top recommendations for that kind of activity?
I would say that a walk along the river, which takes you to the missions, and it also takes you to the San Antonio Museum of Art, the Pearl Brewery, depending on how long you want to walk. You can go for a run in the morning. You can, take that walk to really see the Riverwalk at its fullest. The San Pedro Culture Park, the San Pedro Creek Culture Park, is another really unique experience that I just mentioned. But also we have, bikes for rent, bicycling, or kayaking. You can even kayak along the river. So you could contact, go to visitsanantonio.com, go to that website, and you can book your kayak experience where you're in this urban, again, oasis, kayaking in the middle of the 7th largest city. It's just a really unique experience. And then, of course, we have major attractions. If you're those thrill seekers or adventure seekers, you can pop off to, one of the Six Flags or SeaWorlds. But really, there's so much to do in San Antonio when it comes to nature and our park systems.
That's awesome. And I know, again, you just touched on a few of these things, but specifically for the people who want to make sure they're staying healthy and active during their visit, what are some other opportunities that San Antonio provides for that?
Well, we have a number of different culinary restaurants, and I think we have to touch base on the culinary scene soon, but there's so many different options to eat healthy here in San Antonio. I know we're known as Tex-Mex, but we have so many amazing chefs that are looking at a different way to incorporate traditional foods in today's healthy lifestyle. So visitsanantonio.com has a wealth of information about restaurants that you can visit that are looking for that unique, healthy route when it comes to eating. But then our biking, hiking, walking trails, really plugging that Riverwalk, I have to say, you will see so many unique views of the river that it's a different experience with each mile that you take. And so I would really encourage folks, if they're coming here, to experience all the Riverwalk has to offer.
Well, it seems like you predicted my next question for you, which was actually about dining experiences, since we know that San Antonio is known as the culinary capital of Texas, which is a pretty bold claim in such a large state. So are there any specific restaurants or dining experiences that you would recommend people should check out?
Oh, I could go on and on and on. One of my favorite things to do is to experience our restaurant scene here in San Antonio. So downtown along the Riverwalk, you have a number of different places to eat, but that includes the Pearl Brewery area, the Pearl District. It is the home of the Culinary Institute of America, the San Antonio campus. And so it's really been a home for chefs here in San Antonio to learn the art of cuisine and also take, again, traditional ways of cooking into today's world. So there's so many different restaurants to experience at the Pearl. But if you're like me and you're looking for something really traditional and also sometimes maybe not so healthy because you're here for work, but you're also here for play, I would encourage folks to check out places like the Dakota Ice House, where it's really kind of an arts and culture scene. It's a neighborhood place. You're going to mix and meet with locals, but you're also going to have really unique dining experiences. There's also, I have to plug, Ray's Drive-In. It has a great puffy taco, and you must try the puffy taco, which is many different places here in San Antonio. And so if you're looking for where folks go that are locals, the east side, the west side are really great experiences to take a look at, especially that Dakota Ice House, where it has poetry night, it has open mic night, it has that arts and culture infusion. And then there's also a place called Charity Bar that has ramen that's also, you can give back in terms of picking your charity, or they have a charity of their choice that they're supporting. So it's a way to give back to San Antonio as you experience so many different things that we have here in our city. Those are just a few.
I mean, I skipped lunch today, which was a mistake because after you described those things, I'm much hungrier and I would like a puffy taco. So I'm sold, and I appreciate you giving us such a solid list of options. So another thing that we recently discovered is that Texas means friendly. And those of us planning Cvent Connect have definitely felt that warmth from all of the people that we've met in San Antonio so far. So we know that diversity and inclusion is really important to the city. Could you tell us more about that?
Yes, so San Antonio is a very welcoming place. Hospitality and friendliness is in our DNA. It really is. And we are accepting of all. And so diversity is very important to us because we recognize that it took many different cultures to bring San Antonio to the city it is today. So we have so many different influences when it comes to German, African-American, Asian-American, and of course the Latino culture has brought San Antonio to the beautiful and diverse and culturally rich city it is. And so if you do plan to stop and extend your trip when you're here, we are actually, I have to give a plug for, we're having a Pride Night on Thursday, June 13th. So if you stick around, you can come to our gallery that we run here at City Owned. It's called Culture Commons Gallery, and it's right next to the Spanish Governor's Palace. And all are welcome for that Pride event that we're throwing. We're going to have poetry readings, and we'll have dance performances. And it's just going to be a wonderful celebration of arts and culture through LGBTQIA plus celebrations as well. And so diversity is incredibly important. And if you're looking for, again, arts and culture events that are incredibly diverse, you can go to sanantonio.gov/arts. We have that events calendar, and we actually give artist grants to individual artists in our community. And individual artists who identify as veterans, or if they've self-identified as someone with a disability, or if they're Asian American, African American, LGBTQI+, Latino, they actually get some additional points to do their project. And so our event calendar, where they post their events, is just a beautiful display of the diversity through arts and culture that we have. So I would really encourage you to take a look at all the arts and culture offerings we have, because really arts and culture is at the forefront of diversity and inclusion.
And where can meeting and event planners learn more about San Antonio's commitment to diversity if they're looking?
Yeah, so visit sanantonio.com. Has a great view on diversity and inclusion. They also have a robust listing that's not just arts and culture events. It has a full view of arts and culture events. And of course, I have to mention that Juneteenth celebration is very big here in San Antonio. And so there will be a month long of celebrations happening where you can find those events on visitsanantonio.com's calendar. And then we always work together, but our arts and culture at sanantonio.gov/arts is another way if you're just looking for arts and culture only events to celebrate that diversity inclusion. And anywhere you go, whether it's going to a restaurant, an art gallery, you'll see that commitment at the front door, where you're greeted with warmth and kindness. And oftentimes folks will have their commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion, just like many places. posted, just so that everybody does know that everybody's welcome here in San Antonio.
I think that's all super incredible. And I know that that's something that we really value here at Cvent as well. So I'm really excited that this aligns so well, and that we'll get to immerse ourselves in the culture and the inclusive environment that is being fostered in San Antonio. And thank you so much for being here with us today. You just gave us a wealth of knowledge and information, and I'm sure everyone has something that they should take away with this, with something to do when they are in town for Cvent CONNECT in San Antonio.
Yes, we can't wait to see you all here. We love showcasing our city. We love guests. And I often, I'm walking around looking at everybody enjoying the city, and you can tell who's seen it for the first time. And even if you're a repeat visitor, there's always something new happening here. So we can't wait to welcome you all in June.
Thanks.